On my wedding night, the crown prince's moans from his room grew louder and louder. My co-wife and I both thought he was staying with the other, so we hated each other for life, and ended up dumped in the cold palace and forced to die. When I opened my eyes again, I ripped off my red veil and charged toward Consort Lu's courtyard with Matron Li, the Empress's personal attendant. The crown prince wasn't actually with Consort Lu, but I wanted to make a huge scene. Otherwise, how would everyone find out what the crown prince was really up to? Lu Yuhua was sitting on the couch in her fancy robes, waiting. When the crown prince saw me burst in with people, he panicked. "Shen Yunqiao, what are you doing here?" My people searched everywhere. Matron Li shouted, "Where's the crown prince? He's not in the main courtyard?" I instantly teared up and looked at her. On our wedding night, the crown prince is neither with me nor Consort Lu. Where else could he be? The crown prince disappearing on his wedding day was huge. Matron Li signaled, and someone ran to inform the empress. Soon the empress ordered the entire eastern palace searched. The eastern palace was big, but with so many searchers it didn't take long. A maid ran back and reported, "Your Highness, the crown prince is at Qingfu court. Miss Qing Shuang had a relapse and fainted, so he's there watching over her." I sneered inside. Who was this Qing Shuang? A relapse? Doubtful. Who is Miss Qing Shuang? She's the daughter of the crown prince's wet nurse. They grew up together and are very close. Lu Yuhua and I were known as the two beauties of the capital. As General Pingxi's daughter, she was fierce. Hearing that the crown prince spent our wedding night with a servant girl instantly set her off. "That cheap woman faking illness, you dare pull that in front of me?" She stormed out with a whole crowd behind her. "Let me see this little temptress." Everyone rushed after her. I strolled behind in no hurry. The real show was still coming. I just entered Qingfu court when I saw the crown prince whispering to his wet nurse. Liu Yuhua slammed the door open. The wet nurse jumped, then knelt in a panic. "Your Highnesses, this servant Zhang bows to you. It's all my fault. My daughter Qing Shuang had a sudden relapse and I panicked, which disturbed the crown prince. I grew up with Qing Shuang, so I only stopped by to check on her. I was about to return to the main courtyard." "Please forgive me, crown princess. Don't blame the crown prince." "No need to beg. Qing Shuang is ill, so it's only right for me to check. If you two can't even tolerate that, you're not worthy of being my women." "Your Highness's wedding is a huge event. Zhang, you're an old palace servant. How can you not know the rules? Miss Qing Shuang has an old illness and the imperial physicians have seen her many times. She has her usual medicine. Just because she felt a little unwell, you let the Eastern Palace be thrown into chaos and made both consorts worry. Do you admit your crime?" Matron Li snapped. Zhang turned pale and was about to kneel when a fragile beauty walked out. Qing Shuang coughed lightly into her handkerchief. She looked at me and Liu Yuhua, then moved to kneel with tears in her eyes. "It's all Qing Shuang's fault, not Mother's. Please forgive me, Crown Princess." Her eyes were smug. After all, on his wedding day, the Crown Prince had abandoned two noble ladies to come to her, a wet nurse's daughter. Now the whole Eastern Palace would know who mattered most to him. I nearly laughed. This fool still thought Qian was madly in love with her. When the Crown Prince saw her kneeling and was about to snap at me, I sighed, helped her up and said gently, "Poor thing. You and the Crown Prince grew up together, so it's only natural he worries. No need to apologize. Help her back to bed before she catches a chill." I gave Qian a sweet, virtuous look. "Your Highness, today is our wedding day. The whole Eastern Palace is watching. If you stay here, the Empress will punish her tomorrow. If you're really worried, have a physician stay with her. If you insist on staying, won't that just make things harder for Qing Shuang?" I looked sincere and gentle. The Crown Prince relaxed and nodded. The Crown Princess thinks things through. He glanced back at Qing Shuang, who looked reluctant to part. He gritted his teeth. "Take care, I'm going back." Qing Shuang answered, watching as the Crown Prince took my hand and left. Liu Yuhua was furious but smarter than those people. She knew not to blow things up tonight. She glared at Qing Shuang. "You two better behave. I'm not as nice as the Crown Princess. We'll see." I hated Qian, but I had no choice but to be his wife. The imperial edict was final. The Shen family needed me as Crown Princess, and even more, they needed a legitimate imperial grandson. If I didn't want to repeat my past life, I had to bury my hate, get along with the Eastern Palace women, and seize power. I gently drank the wedding wine with the Crown Prince, and we did our marital duty. The next morning, Matron Li took the proof cloth and whispered, "The Empress knows about yesterday. She praised you for being sensible and handling it well. I heard Jiang and her daughter were summoned early this morning and severely punished." I smiled slightly. "No rush. This is only the beginning." After I was dressed, the Crown Prince and I went to pay respects to the Emperor and Empress. At Fungi Palace, Jiang and Qing Shuang were already kneeling outside in thin white clothes, looking pitiful. Liu Yuhua arrived behind us. She glanced coldly at them. "Why are you kneeling here? Has Miss Qing Shuang's old illness recovered?" Qing Shuang didn't dare answer. She looked up, and tears rolled down like pearls. Qian ached for her. "You're unwell. How could Mother be so cruel? I'll go talk to her." He dropped me and Liu Yuhua and charged into the Empress's hall. That one sentence made Qing Shuang swoon. To her, it meant the Crown Prince's love. Liu Yuhua and I walked in slowly and looked at her, decked out in jewels. I sighed. "Why are you fighting me? If not for this marriage, we could have been friends. Why suffer over one man? In our past life, we were thrown into the cold palace together. When the death edict came, I drank the poisoned wine. She was too proud, so she smashed the cup and bashed her head against a pillar. I still remember that awful sight. Liu Yuhua froze, twisting her handkerchief. Shen Yunqiao, be honest. Did you know before the wedding that the crown prince loved this Qing Shuang? Qing Shuang or Qing Yun, she's just a servant. As long as the Eastern Palace is stable, don't we have a future? Don't tell me the crown prince would dare divorce me? Relax. Right now she has no title. Once she becomes a concubine, you can handle her however you like. In our past life, Liu Yuhua and I destroyed each other. She caused my miscarriage, and I forced her to drink a sterilizing potion. This time, I would never fight her. First, make Qing Shuang a concubine. Then I could easily grab dirt on Kui Yan and that woman. Inside the hall, the crown prince was red-faced, arguing with the empress. Mother, please, Qing Shuang has been with me since childhood. How can you be so cruel? When the empress saw me, she called me over. Crown princess, this is the Eastern Palace's matter. What do you think? I saw how anxious the crown prince was and said, Your Majesty, Qing Shuang is of clean origin. I hate to see the crown prince troubled. How about we bring her into the Eastern Palace as a concubine? Then I pulled in Liu Yuhua. Consort Liu, what do you think? Liu Yuhua was the empress's niece and should have been the crown princess, but the emperor's edict ruined that. She stepped up, hooked the empress's arm, and said intimately, Aunt, I think Miss Qing Shuang has poor health. How about she stays at Chuanhui Hall next to my courtyard? The crown prince's face lit up. Overnight, the Eastern Palace looked harmonious, a lovely wife and a beautiful concubine. He'd wanted to ask for a higher rank for Qing Shuang, but couldn't bring himself to say it. Instead, he gripped my hand. The crown princess and consort Liu are so virtuous. I'm truly pleased. Do you think I'm that petty, Your Highness? Even if Qing Shuang enters the Eastern Palace, cousin can't favor only her. Otherwise, I won't stand for it. Her act gave me goosebumps, but Kui Yan ate it up. Don't worry, I'm a fair man. I won't play favorites. The empress said, Now I can rest easy. Leaving the Eastern Palace to the crown princess was the right call. A few days later, the edict came down making Qing Shuang a concubine. She hadn't expected such a low rank, and threw a fit in her courtyard until Jiang calmed her down. My dear, you're the one the crown prince loves. Once you give birth to a son or daughter, why worry about rank? Titles don't matter. What matters is who the crown prince cares about most. Qing Shuang turned from rage to joy. On the lucky day, chosen by the imperial astrologer, she happily moved into Xuanhui Hall. With Jiang, of course. After Qing Shuang became a concubine, Kui Yan spent several nights in a row in her courtyard, making Liu Yuhua see red. I did nothing, because yesterday my personal physician took my pulse. I might already be pregnant. All those fertility tonics weren't wasted, though the pulse was still faint. Once the pregnancy stabilized, I joined their little show. Kui Yan stayed in Qing Shuang's courtyard every night. Several times it was Liu Yuhua's turn, but just after he lay down, Jiang would call him away, claiming Qing Shuang was unwell. After a few times, Liu Yuhua hated Qing Shuang to the bone. I excused Qing Shuang from morning greetings to my main courtyard, but Liu Yuhua didn't. So she had to go to consort Liu's courtyard every day. One day she was a little late, and Liu Yuhua made her kneel in the yard. You're just a concubine, yet you dare act so spoiled. You cling to the crown prince every night. You should know that neither the crown princess nor I are pregnant yet. I heard you still haven't taken contraceptive soup. How dare you break the rules? Someone, serve her the soup. A maid brought the bowl and Qing Shuang shrieked, I won't drink it! The crown prince promised I'd bear the first son. Who dares touch me? Jiang had been waiting outside and rushed in. Consort Liu, please spare Qing Shuang. Smack. Liu Yuhua's maid slapped Jiang hard across the face. Just an old servant, and you dare interfere with our consort? We're polite and call you matron. Truth is, you're just a slave. Drag her out and beat her with 10 strokes. Jiang panicked, face white. Consort Liu, I belong to the crown prince. How dare you touch me? Oh yeah? I'm touching you anyway. What are you gonna do? Take her. But Consort Liu's people were faster and pinned Jiang to the ground. The plank rose high. Jiang went pale, clutching her belly. Stop! I'm pregnant! Everyone froze. Liu Yuhua shot to her feet. What did you say? Your husband died over 10 years ago. Where did this pregnancy come from? You dare pollute the Eastern Palace by sleeping with another man. Tie her up and beat her to death. Jiang broke free from the guards and stood tall, chin raised. Consort Liu, I'm afraid you can't touch me. I'm carrying the crown prince's child. Just then, a powerful voice came from behind Jiang. What did you say? Everyone stiffened. The empress stood there, shocked. I had invited the empress over today just for this show. Sure enough, she heard the best part. In my past life, Jiang had stormed into the cold palace and told us before executing us. She'd been pregnant soon after the crown prince's wedding, but since the Shen and Liu families were powerful, he didn't dare offend them. So he forced Jiang to abort. The timing meant she would have been showing right about now. Early that morning, I heard the crown prince was again staying with Qing Shuang, so I invited the empress over saying consort Liu wasn't feeling well. Knowing Liu Yuhua, she would never tolerate this again. There was bound to be a fight. What an unexpected surprise this was. The empress glared at Jiang, face livid. What did you just say? Say it again! Jiang had guts in the Eastern Palace, but not in front of the empress. She panicked, knelt, and trembled. Your Majesty, please forgive me. The child in my belly is indeed the crown prince's. Qing screamed. Mother, what are you saying? You're his wet nurse. How can you carry his child? He's my man. How could you steal your daughter's man? Have you no shame? Jiang looked at her coldly. Qing, I'm not your real mother. You're the orphan of a friend of mine. When I gave birth, my child died. My sister passed away and entrusted you to me, so I raised you. I've done enough for you. I acted shocked and backed away step by step. How can you be carrying the crown prince's child? I thought Qing was the one he loved. On our wedding night, did you cause Qing relapse on purpose to lure him to her courtyard? He wasn't going to see her. He was going to see you. The crown prince and Jiang's ugly secret was now fully exposed before the empress. This time, I'd see how he'd face the emperor, the empress, and the court. I looked at the stunned empress and pleaded, Your Majesty, if this gets out, it'll hurt the crown prince. And if Jiang's child is born, I'm afraid. The empress said, I understand. If this scandal spreads, the crown prince won't be able to show his face. Someone bring the abortifacient. That evil fetus cannot live. They brewed the strong potion and brought it to Jiang. She struggled desperately. Your Majesty, this is your own grandchild. How can you kill it? The crown prince and I truly love each other. Shut up! Force her to drink it. I stood beside the empress, coldly watching Jiang's desperate thrashing. She screamed, Crown princess? If you kill the crown prince's child, aren't you afraid he'll come after you? He's the crown prince. Surely he knows what matters more. One child is nothing compared to the Eastern Palace's stability. Matron Li ordered the maids to pry her mouth open and tie her up, then stepped forward to pour the potion in. What are you doing? The crown prince burst in. Yao, are you okay? He wrapped Jiang in his arms. She sobbed against his chest. Yanlang, if you hadn't come, we'd both be dead. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Nobody's touching you. Then he glared at me. Shen Yunqiao, you dare kill my child. I'll depose you. The baby in Yao's belly is mine. Anyone touches her and they're dead. But I was pale and lying on the ground, surrounded by maids. Crown princess, what's wrong? Your Majesty, help! My stomach hurts so much. Why is the crown princess bleeding? Call the imperial physician. Everyone looked. There was a pool of blood under my skirt, shockingly red. My vision went black, and I passed out. When I woke, my mother was there. She gripped my hand. Ma Yun, you've been in the Eastern Palace less than 2 months, and already you've been humiliated like this. I wish we'd broken off the engagement. The crown prince is tangled up with his own wet nurse. What is that? If word gets out, won't the whole world mock him? Madam, if this gets out, how will my daughter and I survive? The crown prince is so obsessed with Jiang that he went through all this trouble. Why marry us at all? Why not just make Jiang the crown princess? If the crown prince doesn't give us an answer, I'll ask the emperor for a divorce. Our Shen family can afford to keep a daughter. The empress was livid but had no comeback. She slammed the table. Someone take Jiang to the punishment bureau. Nobody is to release her without my order. Mother Yao is carrying my child. Shut up! Shen Guogong and General Pingxi are in your father's study right now demanding answers. If you want to protect Jiang, think about how you'll face your father. I tried to speak, and my mother leaned in. Yun, you're awake? Are you hurting anywhere? I reddened my eyes. Don't worry, your father and I will get you justice. I pretended not to know. What's going on? The empress comforted me. Crown princess, you're pregnant. Don't worry, I'll stand up for you. You won't be wronged. Tears fell. It must be that I'm not virtuous enough. The crown prince doesn't like me, so he acted out. I beg you, please let him divorce me. Since he loves Jiang, I'll give her my place. Now the crown prince would even abandon his own legitimate child for Jiang. What about later? I don't want my child born into this. Please grant my wish. I moved to kneel, but the empress quickly stopped me, even angrier. She immediately ordered Jiang to be forced to drink the sterilization and abortifacient potion, not only killing the fetus, but making her permanently sterile. Liu Yuhua stood by the curtain, deep in thought. She'd been disappointed by my pregnancy, but now she realized a legitimate heir in the Eastern Palace might not be bad. She wiped her tears and grabbed the empress's hand, crying. Aunt, even the crown princess, his legal wife, is treated like this. If I'd killed that woman today, wouldn't the crown prince take my life? She made a scene, and the empress quickly soothed her. The crown prince's relationship with her is already indecent. Rest assured, it's not up to him. The job of forcing Jiang to drink the potion was fought over by Liu Yuhua and Qing. I quickly had my nanny stop Liu Yuhua and advised her to let Qing have the honor. In the dungeon, Qing stared through the bars at Jiang and said viciously, "You shameless woman, you wanted to bear the crown prince's child? That child makes me sick. No wonder you always used my illness to call him over. It was for yourself. You used your own daughter as a cover to seduce the crown prince. You're not fit to be a mother. Yanlang has always loved me. If not for me, he wouldn't even glance at you. Making you a concubine was just so he could see me daily. Every night he came, the tea you drank was drugged. The crown prince stayed in my room. That was your only use. You fool. You thought he loved you." Qing screamed. "Hold this whore down. By the empress's order, give her the sterilization potion." The matrons pinned Jiang down hard. Qing showed no mother-daughter mercy and forced the potion down her throat. Jiang tried to vomit it up, but they held her mouth shut until she swallowed every drop. She broke down, screaming, "You killed my child! I want to see the crown prince!" Qing Shuang smiled and slapped her hard. "See the crown prince? As if. You'll never bear children again." Jiang knew she'd been permanently sterilized and completely lost it, shrieking in the dungeon. Meanwhile, the crown prince was harshly scolded by the emperor and confined to the eastern palace. But instead of learning his lesson, he knelt outside the emperor's hall for a day and night for Jiang. "Father, I want nothing else. The only one I love is Jiang. You and Mother forced me to marry this person and that person, and I'm sick of it. Please allow me to be with her. I've only ever loved her. I beg you, grant me this." The crown prince had always been smart and obedient, but now he was weeping for Jiang with no dignity as heir. The emperor was deeply disappointed. Walking out, he said, "The crown prince of this dynasty cannot have the stain of sleeping with his wet nurse. Even so, you don't care? As long as I can be with Yao, I don't regret losing everything." The emperor finally gave up. "Fine, I'll grant your wish." Jiang was released and confined to a small courtyard in the eastern palace. I was suffering terrible morning sickness, but the crown prince never once checked on me or even stepped into my courtyard. Even Liu Yuhua sighed. "If I'd known, why did I cry and beg to marry him? I grew up with him as cousins. Who knew he'd be like this? I'd have been better off marrying someone at the border and living a normal life." How could Liu Yuhua have predicted Kui Yan's cruelty? I smiled bitterly. "You come from a great family and are the empress's niece. Even if you didn't want to marry into the eastern palace, she'd have asked the emperor. A normal life? We don't have that luck. Our families are behind us. Arranged marriages to people we don't love. We've never had a choice. All we can do is carve out a path within these walls." I looked at Liu Yuhua. "Sister, the crown prince can't be relied on. In this palace, you need a child to protect yourself." She was smart and knew I meant it. She'd been blinded by love for the crown prince before, but now she understood. Liu Yuhua was decisive. Once she made up her mind, she acted. From then on, she used every trick to win the crown prince's favor and draw him to her courtyard. For a long time, the eastern palace fell into a strange peace. The crown prince was pleased with himself, thinking he had a virtuous wife and a beautiful concubine. Even when Jiang secretly sent him nourishing soup, Liu Yuhua and I stayed silent. Only Qing Shuang threw a few fits, but nothing came of them. Soon, consort Liu became pregnant, and the emperor and empress were thrilled. The emperor and empress only had one son, and they'd argued over his marriage. That's how he ended up with 2 wives. Now that the crown princess and consort Liu got along and were both pregnant, everyone was happy. When Jiang heard about consort Liu's pregnancy, she secretly threw a tearful fit with the crown prince. "You got the crown princess pregnant. Fine, she's your legal wife. But consort Liu, you said you'd never touch those women." Now the eastern palace consorts are pregnant one after another. "You know I can't have children. Are you trying to hurt me? If I'd known, I'd have asked to leave the palace. What will I do when I'm old and faded with no child to lean on?" Kui Yan's heart melted as she cried. He comforted her and promised everything. Jiang lifted her face and asked softly, "When the crown princess and consort Liu have children, can one be raised under my care? The crown princess is the legal wife. When you ascend, she'll be empress and won't have time to raise a child. If I raise him, I'll treat him as my own." The crown prince found it absurd, but he didn't like me. If he ever took the throne, he could depose me anyway. What was one child? So he agreed, saying they'd wait for the right time. Jiang was overjoyed and showered him with sweet words. They called for water several times that night. When my spy passed the message to me, my heart turned cold. Jiang had to go. Liu Yuhua picked up a candied fruit from the table and handed it to me. Jiang only has power because the crown prince favors her. If he takes the throne, neither of us will survive. If a crown prince like that takes the throne, wouldn't it be a disaster for the realm? I smiled faintly. No rush. The crown prince started visiting my main courtyard often, showing concern. I played the sweet wife whenever he came, sharing little stories about the baby's kicks. Right before my due date, he showed up with Jiang. He stammered, "Yunchao, you've always been so virtuous. I need to discuss something. After the baby is born, you'll be busy running the eastern palace. You might not have time to raise him. How about letting Jiang take care of him? She's great with children. What do you think? Don't worry, he'll still call you mother." "Ha, she's just a caretaker." Jiang knelt, crying. "I only want to atone. Don't worry, I'll take good care of the little imperial grandson." My teacup crashed to the floor. Pale and trembling, I said, "Your Highness, what do you mean? Let her care for him in my palace or take the child to her place." My stomach cramped hard, and a warm gush ran down my legs. Servants rushed in at the noise. "Call the imperial physician. The crown princess is in early labor." My physician had everything prepared. I knew the prince would come with some cruel excuse to hurt me, so I chose that day to give birth. A full-term baby and one born early from anger are completely different. He'd lifted Jiang's house arrest this morning and planned to visit, so I took a labor-inducing drug beforehand. The timing was perfect. While I labored inside, my maids knelt outside and begged the empress, "Please, your majesty, help us. The crown prince brought Jiang to force our crown princess, saying he'd make Jiang a consort and give her the baby to raise. The crown princess went into labor from the shock. She's always been stressed and now may have a difficult birth. The empress was enraged by such absurdity and had Jiang dragged out and beaten on the spot. My mother had already received my message. At that moment, my father was kneeling in the grand court, weeping. Your Majesty, our Shen family has served the throne for generations. I have only one daughter, yet the crown prince humiliates her like this. Knowing she was about to give birth, he brought a nobody concubine and said he'd hand over the legitimate child to her. This insult is unbearable. I beg you to let the crown prince divorce her. I only want my daughter to survive. He kowtowed hard. My father never directly mentioned the crown prince's affair with his wet nurse, but everyone in the hall knew. The court was shocked. General Pingxi, who'd returned to the capital last month, also stepped forward. He was blunt and didn't care. A crown prince who acts like this is unfit. Your Majesty, please reconsider the heir. The crown prince's affair with Jiang is already against ethics. Now he wants to force the crown princess to death. Please consider deposing the crown prince. The emperor's face went livid. Drag the crown prince out. Give him 30 strokes at the palace gate and make him kneel. As for Jiang, execute her. The crown prince was still defending himself in the eastern palace when the emperor's guards burst in and dragged him out. Jiang was locked in a side hall to await death. Hours later, with my physician's help and the imperial doctors, I safely gave birth to the imperial eldest grandson. When the emperor heard, he immediately issued an edict naming the baby imperial grandson heir. The whole capital was stunned. It meant the royal family had a new heir. At the palace gate, the crown prince panicked. Father, how can you name him imperial grandson heir? I'm the crown prince. The emperor's attendant came out with the edict. Crown prince, His Majesty spared you by not deposing you. By imperial order, you have been cursed and confused. You are to move to Changhua Palace to recuperate and cannot leave without an edict. Kui Yan was imprisoned. In Changhua Palace, he shouted that he wasn't sick. But except for one deaf old servant, nobody paid him any mind. Jiang died even more quietly. She'd been taken to the mass grave the night before. I heard Qing Shuang tormented her until she was unrecognizable before she was executed with poisoned wine. A few months later, Liu Yuhua gave birth to a daughter. The emperor and empress were overjoyed and made her Princess Zhaoyang. Now the Eastern Palace had both a son and a daughter, and was lively again. 15 years later, the emperor died. The new emperor ascended before his grandfather's spirit tablet. The empress had passed away years earlier. Neither the emperor nor the empress had mentioned the crown prince before they died, as if he'd never existed. To spare my son future trouble, I went to Changhua Palace with Liu Yuhua the night before his coronation. Kui Yan, with graying hair, kept muttering that a wicked woman had cursed him, like a madman. I opened the door and exchanged a smile with Liu Yuhua. Crown Prince, we've come to see you. Kui Yan froze, then rushed at us. Yunchao Yuhua, is the emperor dead? I'm the new emperor, right? You're here to welcome my ascension, right? Liu Yuhua and I stepped back and let the eunuch hold him. I picked up the same poisoned wine used to execute Jiang that day. I held the cup to his ear and said slowly, Your Highness, the late emperor has passed and the imperial grandson heir now rules. I'm the Empress Dowager, and my sister is the grand consort. We owe it all to you. Don't worry, I'll make sure you and Jiang are buried together, never apart for all eternity. In the 55th year of Yongsheng, the new emperor ascended, and the former crown prince died suddenly.